Hi, so this week's journal had to do with probability. I'm doing it from my classroom this week. It's one of those weeks where I'm stuck at work all the time. And you can see some of the stuff we did behind us. We did decimal flowers. That was math-based. We did the snowflakes. That was math-based. The 3D hand, that was math-based. It's funny how much math is integrated into subjects that we do all the time, especially art, which is one of my favorite things. But probability. So the probability activities that I chose was the first one was how likely are sums. And this had to do with two dice, which I like, hands-on activity, and rolling them. Not just one dice, but two dice. Brings more factors in there that you had to do. You had to add them together and see the probability from that. Then for the other activity I liked, or one of the other activities, was fair and unfair games. I like this because kids always are talking about how things are fair or unfair. So this really brings that idea that they can really connect with, and brings it to how they relate to life in the aspect of probability. What's the probability of this being fair or unfair? It uses coins as their hands-on approach, and I like that too, because whenever there's something hands-on, it seems like the kids really do connect with it more. They also are doing this in groups collaboratively. The last activity I picked was the chance of hitting the target. And I like this one because I'm into archery. I just started it. And I kind of want to know, what are the chances of hitting that bullseye or the circles as they get out there? This might be something I'll do with my kids. I think they can relate to it. I think they like the idea. So integrating ways of technology. Now that's something we are doing a lot this year, being that we have to teach virtually. One way is to look at the probability of a certain letter in a document. You can look for vowels versus consonants or a particular letter. All the kids can see it on the screen, and then they look and see how many letters there are, so forth. And then the other one that I really like is the Wheel of Names. It's something that I use a lot in the classroom for chance things. So they're kind of familiar with it. And we can look at the probability of their own name coming up, or the probability of a girl's name coming up, or the probability of a boy's name coming up. It's a tool that they're familiar with, like I said. I think that's something that I'm going to use too when we get to probability, because I teach 6th grade. Probability is coming up. Exploring those sites, I found it a little difficult because I didn't have access to all of the lesson plans, or only part of it. You had to sign up for things. But I did like the lesson plan that had to do with dice, because I really like that one. And you show the kids the dice. They're familiar with the dice. They understand the concept of a dice. They realize that there's chance involved. And they also can realize it to a game. They always are playing a game where they need to roll a 6 or they need to roll a 3. That way they can relate to, well, what's the probability of getting that 6? What's that probability of getting 3? They can see that that can relate to something that they might need. So you talk about probability first. You show them the die. Ask them how many sides there are. They see there's 6 sides. Roll the dice a couple times, get different numbers. They learn that each number has a probability of 1 to 6. There's one side of that number, 6 sides. So they kind of get the basics. For 6th grade, I would bring in 2 dice, 3 dice, and so forth, make it a little bit more complicated and explain how that goes from there. I would also modify it by using the online dices, the programs that have that. There's a lot of free apps that have it, just like the Wheel of Names, because we're doing everything virtually. I don't know if the kids are going to have dice at home. So that's my ideas on probability and my journal for this week.